From fan to entrepreneur, finding your comic book niche. Have you ever dreamed of turning your love for comic books into a thriving business? You know, ditch the day job and just spend your days surrounded by four-color goodness? Well, it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. The secret to success lies in finding your niche, that sweet spot where your passion meets the market demand. In this video, we'll break down exactly how to choose the right comic books to sell and build a profitable collection that resonates with collectors and fans alike. We're talking about unearthing those hidden gems, those key issues, those variants that'll make collectors' wallets spontaneously combust. So buckle up, true believers, and get ready to turn your comic book obsession into a full-blown entrepreneurial adventure. Diving into the four-color market, understanding what sells. Before you even think about slapping a price tag on that amazing fantasy number 15, you gotta understand the lay of the land. The comic book market is a complex ecosystem, teeming with various genres, trends, and collector preferences. It's not just about having a rare book, it's about knowing what makes it valuable. The comic book industry is a multi-billion-dollar behemoth. But it's not all sunshine and roses. There are peaks and valleys, hot trends and cold spells. Understanding these fluctuations can make the difference between a profitable sale and a missed opportunity. Some books are hotter than a jalapeno eating contest in Hades, while others are colder than Mr. Freeze's heart. The key is to know which is which and why. Market demand can shift rapidly, influenced by movies, TV shows, and even social media buzz. First off, you gotta know your genres. Superhero comics, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, indie, each has its own dedicated fan base and market dynamics. Superhero comics are always a safe bet. These stories of caped crusaders and masked vigilantes have universal appeal and a long history of popularity. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, these guys are the Michael Jordans of the comic book world. Their stories have been captivating audiences for decades, and their books are always in demand, always worth something. But don't just stick to the big names, explore other popular heroes and emerging characters. But don't sleep on the indie scene either. Independent comics often push the boundaries of storytelling and art, attracting a dedicated and passionate audience. Walking Dead, Saga, Hellboy. These books are like the indie darlings that become cult classics. They may not have the same mainstream appeal as superhero comics, but their value can skyrocket. Then you got your vintage books. These are the treasures from the past that collectors dream about. Golden Age, Silver Age, these are the holy grails for collectors. Books from these eras are not just old, they are pieces of history, often featuring the first appearances of iconic characters. A pristine copy of Action Comics #1? That's the stuff of legends. You're talking serious coin, my friend. These books can fetch prices that rival luxury cars and even houses. But be warned, these books are rarer than a sober night in Hollywood. Finding them in good condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. And don't forget about those key issues. These are the game changers in the comic book world. First appearances, major deaths, game-changing events. These are the books that get collectors frothing at the mouth. They often mark significant moments in comic book history and can be highly sought after. Knowing your key issues is like having the cheat codes to the comic book market. It gives you an edge, helping you to identify which books are worth investing in and which ones to pass on. The passion of the geek selling what you love. Now, I'm not saying you gotta be a walking encyclopedia of comic book knowledge, but a little passion goes a long way. When you genuinely love what you're selling, it shows. Your enthusiasm becomes infectious, and people can sense that. The best niches are the ones that get you fired up, the ones that make your heart race and your eyes light up, the ones that make you want to empty your wallet faster than a sugar-crazed kid in a candy store. It's that kind of passion that turns a hobby into a thriving business. Are you a sucker for those epic cosmic sagas? The kind that take you on a journey through space and time, with heroes and villains battling for the fate of the universe? Then maybe Silver Age Marvel is your jam. Those classic tales of heroism and adventure never go out of style. Do you dig those gritty crime stories? The ones that pull you into a world of mystery and suspense, where every page turn keeps you on the edge of your seat? Independent publishers like Dark Horse and Image might be your calling. They offer unique and diverse stories that often push the boundaries of the genre. Or maybe you're a sucker for those classic newspaper strips, the ones that bring a sense of nostalgia and charm, reminding you of simpler times. Then vintage collections are your bag, baby. There's something magical about holding a piece of history in your hands. Look, Nobody wants to spend hours researching and cataloging comics they couldn't care less about. It's a soul-sucking task that drains your energy and enthusiasm. It's like being stuck in detention with Professor Xavier, pure torture. You need to find what excites you, what makes you want to dive deeper and learn more. But when you're passionate about what you're selling, it's not work. It's a labor of love. And that enthusiasm? That's contagious, my friend. People are drawn to genuine passion and excitement. It'll draw in customers like moths to a flame. They'll want to be a part of that energy, to share in the joy and excitement that you bring to the table. So find what you love and let that passion guide you. The art of the deal: researching current trends. Alright, so you've tapped into your inner geek and found your passion. But passion alone won't get you far in the comic book market. You need to be informed, aware, and ahead of the curve. Now it's time to put on your detective hat and do some serious sleuthing. Think of yourself as a comic book Sherlock Holmes, piecing together clues to uncover the next big trend. The comic book market is a fickle beast, constantly evolving, always changing. One minute, a title is the hottest thing on the shelves, and the next, it's gathering dust. What's hot today might be colder than Superman's breath in the Fortress of Solitude tomorrow. First stop, eBay. It's a goldmine for gauging current market trends. Yeah, I know it's like the Mos Eisley Cantina of the internet, but it's a treasure trove of information. You can find out what people are buying, what they're selling, and at what prices. Check out completed listings, see what's selling, what's not. This will give you a clear picture of the market's pulse. Pay attention to those bidding wars. Those are the books that get collectors hot and bothered. If you see a lot of action on a particular title, it's worth noting. Next up, forums and online communities. These are invaluable resources for staying in the loop. These are your watering holes, your gathering places for all things comics. Here you can engage with fellow enthusiasts and experts, listen to the chatter, see what people are buzzing about. Are there any recurring themes or titles that keep popping up? Are variant covers all the rage? These limited editions can sometimes fetch a high price if they become popular. Is there a new indie title taking the world by storm? Indie comics can be hidden gems that suddenly explode in value. Knowledge is power, my friend, and these forums are your power source. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to make smart buying and selling decisions. Chapter 4. Niche down to blow up. Becoming the go-to expert. You've done your research, you've got your finger on the pulse of the comic book world. Now it's time to narrow your focus, to become the master of your domain. Think of it like this. Would you rather be a jack of all trades, master of none, or the freaking Batman of your niche? Let's say you're all about those Bronze Age Marvel books. Cool, but that's still a pretty broad spectrum. Maybe you specialize in Daredevil or Iron Fist or even those wacky Defenders comics. The more specific you are, the less competition you'll have, and the more you'll stand out from the crowd. Remember, you don't have to be the next Stan Lee, creating your own universe. You just gotta find your corner of the comic book multiverse and make it your own. Become the go-to expert, the one-stop shop for all things related to your niche. Alright, you found your niche, you're ready to start slinging comics like a four-color Spider-Man. But before you do, you gotta know your stuff. Grading, pricing, identifying rare variants. These are the skills that separate the amateurs from the pros. First up, grading. This is where things can get a little tricky. A comic's condition can make or break its value. Is it pristine like it just rolled off the printing press? Or is it more beat up than Batman after a run-in with Bane? Learn the grading scales, get familiar with the terminology. A little knowledge in this department can save you a whole lot of heartache and money down the line. Then there's pricing. This is where your research comes in handy. Check out those eBay listings, those online price guides, see what similar books are selling for, factor in condition, rarity, and demand. Remember, you're not running a charity here, you're trying to make a profit. Listen up, true believers, because this next tip is crucial. The comic book community is your greatest asset. These are your people, your tribe, your fellow geeks who understand the joy of finding that mint condition. Amazing Spider-Man number 129. Get out there and mingle. Hit up those comic conventions, those local comic shops. Join online forums, Facebook groups, Reddit threads, whatever it takes to connect with like-minded individuals. Talk shop, trade stories, geek out over your shared passion, and don't be afraid to promote your wares. Let people know what you're selling, what you're passionate about. The more you put yourself out there, the more connections you'll make, and the more successful you'll be. So there you have it, folks, your crash course in finding your comic book niche and turning your passion into profit. Remember, it's all about finding that sweet spot where your interests align with market demand. Start small, build your knowledge, connect with the community, and never be afraid to geek out. The world of comics is vast and ever-changing, but with a little hustle and a lot of heart, you can turn your love for those four-color adventures into a thriving business. Now go forth, my fellow entrepreneurs, and make Stan Lee proud. So there you have it, kids. Finding your niche in the wacky world of comics is like finding a pristine copy of Amazing Fantasy number 15. It's a game changer. Remember, it's not just about the Benjamins, although let's be honest, that's a big part of it. It's about sharing your love for these stories, these characters, this whole freaking mythology with the world. So go on, get out there and make your mark on the comic book multiverse. And hey, if you ever find yourself in Red Bank, swing by the stash. We'll talk comics, we'll debate the merits of Marvel versus DC, and maybe, just maybe, you can school me on a few things. Stay geeky, my friends.